Good morning, sisters. Thank you so much for joining me another morning as we continue the video series, Listen to the Dreamers. My character this morning is Nehemiah. Read with me from Nehemiah 1, verse 1. The words of Nehemiah, son of Hekeliah, in the month of Kislev, in the 20th year, while I was in the citadel of Susa, Hanani, one of my brothers, came from Judah with some other men, and I questioned them about the Jewish remnant that had survived the exile, and also about Jerusalem. They said to me, "Those who survived the exile are back in the province are in great trouble and disgrace. The walls of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates have been burned with fire." When I heard these things, I sat down and wept. For some days I mourned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Let's pause there. I believe that as I speak this morning, you'll hear me switch out the word dream for the word vision. And that's what I believe Nehemiah was, a man of great vision. According to Jonathan Swift, vision is the art of seeing things invisible. Also, a vision starts with a great concern given to us by God, and God grows it to a point where we have to do something about it. I believe Nehemiah took what God had shared with him through his brothers. This great concern began to grow. And if you look in Nehemiah 1:1, Nehemiah 2:1, at the dates at the start of each chapter, it gives you a clue as to how long it took him to formulate when he first heard about the disgrace the exiles were living in, to the point of doing something about it, was exactly 4 months according to scholars. And why is that significant? I believe that is significant because in those 4 months, Nehemiah, and it tells you, he mourned, he prayed, he fasted. What is left out there, I believe, is that he was also planning. And those are the steps in his plan: to pray and to plan. You know, one of the things throughout the book of Nehemiah you will see is that different little clues also tell you about who God really is. I believe God used those 4 months of waiting to mature, to build up, to plant the vision properly, to mature Nehemiah, to mature his understanding of how he was going to deal with this disgrace, the physical wall, the gates being burned. I believe he took these 4 months and allowed God to use him to plan. And he relied heavily on praying to God to guide him. As we read, let's take it from verse 10 of chapter 1. Chapter 1, verse 10. It says, "There are your servants and your people, whom you redeemed by your great strength and your mighty hand. Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of this servant and the prayer of your servants, who delight in revering your name." Listen to this. "Give your servant success today by granting him favor in the presence of this man. I was cupbearer to the king. And so we see at different points throughout, at the start, in the middle, even when he was receiving opposition from others, Sanballat, Tobias, these men who came and were opposing the exiles. We see in chapter 5:19, we see in 6:9, that he prayed throughout every obstacle that presented itself to him. You know, originally, Nehemiah was 800 miles away. That is the distance between from here in Barbados to Santo Domingo, 800 miles. He was not near. And I believe that when we do have a vision, we start to see the reality. Things start to hit us. You know, how can I bring this dream to a reality? How can I bring this vision to realism? You know, we start to look at our circumstances. We start to look at, who am I? We start to look at our finances. We might start to look at, you know, I don't have a great relationship with God. Who am I to have this kind of vision, this kind of dream? You know, I would prefer God's vision in my life than my own vision. And so, sisters, I leave you with this. If you can read the book of Nehemiah in its entirety, you'll see this amazing story of how one man's vision became the vision of thousands. Thank you for listening this morning, and have a good day.